I stared at Nathan's phone, my fingers hovering over the screen like they might get burned. 3 years of marriage counseling, 2 second chances, and 1 message thread was all it took to prove what a fool I'd been. "Mom, is the pasta ready?" Eli called from the living room, his voice cutting through the static in my head. "5 more minutes, honey." My voice didn't shake. 12 years of motherhood had taught me how to lie convincingly when necessary. The message thread between Nathan and Oliver glowed accusingly. "Maggie's getting antsy about the money. Need to move things around before Paisley notices." And then Oliver's response. "Got you covered, brother. Wire transfer should clear by Friday." The timer on the stove chimed. I set the phone down exactly where I'd found it, straightened Nathan's wallet beside it, and moved to drain the pasta. Steam rose in angry clouds as boiling water hit the sink. My hands performed the routine tasks while my mind raced through numbers, bank accounts, credit card statements, investment portfolios I hadn't checked in months because I'd trusted my husband to handle them. "Something smells amazing." Nathan's voice behind me, his hand sliding around my waist. I didn't flinch. Instead, I leaned back against him, feeling his wedding ring press against my stomach. "Just pasta." I turned and smiled, studying his face. Same brown eyes, same laugh lines, same man I'd married 13 years ago. Same liar who'd been there all along. "How was your meeting with Oliver?" "Productive." He kissed my temple. "We're closing in on that development deal I told you about." I nodded, wondering if development deal was code for whatever scheme they were running behind my back. "That's great, honey. Eli's starving. Why don't you go tell him dinner's ready?" The moment Nathan left the kitchen, I grabbed my phone and fired off a text to Samantha. "Need your help. Don't call. We'll explain tomorrow." Dinner was a masterclass in normalcy. I asked Eli about school, laughed at Nathan's jokes, and didn't once mention the text messages or the sudden urge I had to check every financial statement we owned. When Nathan's phone buzzed during dessert, I watched him check it under the table, noted how his jaw tightened slightly before he turned it face down. "Everything okay?" I asked, sliding another scoop of ice cream onto Eli's plate. "Just work stuff." Nathan's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Nothing that can't wait until morning." Later, after Eli was in bed and Nathan was absorbed in his laptop, I sat in our ensuite bathroom, door locked, scrolling through our joint account statements. The transactions looked normal at first glance, but there were patterns. Small transfers, recurring payments to accounts I didn't recognize, withdrawals that Nathan had always explained away as business expenses. My hand shook as I opened our investment portfolio app. The numbers were lower than I remembered, much lower. How long had this been going on? How much had he already hidden away? A soft knock at the door made me jump. "Pace, you okay in there?" "Fine," I called back, closing the apps quickly. "Just feeling a little off." "Don't stay up too late. We've got that dinner with the Bennetts tomorrow night." The Bennetts. Oliver and his perfect wife, their perfect house, their perfectly orchestrated role in whatever game Nathan was playing. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, at the woman who'd been so busy being the perfect wife she'd missed all the signs. "I won't," I promised, already planning tomorrow's lunch with Samantha, already calculating how much evidence I'd need, how long I should wait, how carefully I needed to play this, because Nathan had taught me something valuable today. Sometimes the best revenge requires patience, and I had all the patience in the world. Samantha's office always smelled like coffee and ambition. She'd made senior partner while I'd stepped back to juggle motherhood and marriage. Now, watching her scroll through the screenshots I'd taken, I wondered if I should have chosen differently. "Jesus, Paisley." She set her phone down. "How long has this been going on? That's what I need you to help me figure out." I pulled out the stack of bank statements I'd printed. "There's a pattern here, but I can't see it clearly yet." "You realize what you're suggesting?" Her fingers drummed against her desk. "Oliver Bennett isn't just Nathan's friend. His firm handles half our biggest accounts." I know. The weight of it pressed against my chest. One wrong move and I wouldn't just lose my marriage. I could lose my career, my reputation, everything I'd built. My phone buzzed. "Nathan. Don't forget dinner at the Bennetts tonight. Wear that blue dress I like." Samantha read the message over my shoulder. "You're still going?" "Of course." I typed back a quick, looking forward to it with a heart emoji. The best place to hide is in plain sight. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of spreadsheets and whispered conversations. Samantha's assistant brought more coffee. We traced payment patterns, flagged suspicious transfers, built a timeline of Nathan's deception. There's something else, Samantha said finally, pushing away from her desk. A name that keeps coming up, Maggie Thompson. The name hit like a slap. What about her? She's received regular payments from one of these shell accounts. Small amounts at first, then larger. The most recent was last Friday. My hands were steady as I gathered the papers. I need to get home. Get Eli from soccer practice. Paisley. Samantha caught my arm. Whatever you're planning, be careful. Men like Nathan, they don't react well to losing control. I managed a smile. Who said anything about letting him know he's losing it? At home, I transformed myself into the perfect wife Nathan expected. The blue dress he liked, hair swept up, makeup carefully applied to hide the shadows under my eyes. Eli watched me from the doorway as I finished getting ready. You look pretty, Mom. Thanks, sweetie. I studied his reflection in the mirror. You okay staying with Grandma Grace tonight? He shrugged, picking at a loose thread on his sleeve. I guess. Dad seems weird lately. My heart clenched. Weird how? I don't know. He keeps checking his phone during our games. And yesterday, when I asked if we could go camping next weekend like he promised, he said he had to work. I turned, pulling him into a hug. Sometimes grown-ups get caught up in work stuff. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to spend time with you. The lie tasted bitter, but I'd rather swallow poison than let my son see the truth about his father. Nathan was waiting downstairs, looking exactly like the successful businessman he pretended to be. Ready? Always. I kissed his cheek, breathing in his cologne. The same brand he'd worn when we met, when I thought his ambition was sexy rather than dangerous. The drive to the Bennetts was quiet. I watched Nathan's hands on the steering wheel, remembering how those same hands had held mine across the altar, had cradled Eli when he was born, had signed countless documents I now knew were filled with lies. Oliver's house was exactly what you'd expect. Massive, modern, a testament to wealth carefully managed. His wife, Caroline, greeted us with air kisses and practiced charm. Paisley, that dress is stunning. She ushered us inside. Oliver's in his study with Nathan. Business never sleeps, right? I smiled, accepting the glass of wine she offered. Never does. Through the study's open door, I caught glimpses of Nathan and Oliver in heated discussion. Their voices were too low to hear, but their body language spoke volumes. Tension in their shoulders, quick glances toward the door. Caroline chatted about renovations and charity events, oblivious to the undercurrents swirling around us. I nodded in all the right places, all while cataloging every detail, every gesture, every subtle exchange between our husbands. Because somewhere in this perfect house, between the expensive wine and carefully casual conversation, was the truth about what Nathan and Oliver were planning. And I was going to find it, even if I had to burn down every bridge in the process. The coffee shop was exactly halfway between my office and Maggie Thompson's apartment. I watched her through the window, noting how her hands shook as she stirred her latte. 34, like me. Wearing a wedding ring, like me. Except her husband probably didn't know she was sleeping with mine. Mrs. Adams? Her voice wavered when I sat down. I wasn't sure. Please, call me Paisley. I smiled, the same smile I used in board meetings before going for the kill. Thank you for meeting me. She glanced at her phone. Nathan doesn't know I'm here. Nathan doesn't know a lot of things. I pulled out the bank statements, sliding them across the table. Like how to hide money properly. Color drained from her face as she looked at the highlighted transfers. I can explain. You don't have to. My voice stayed steady, even as my coffee cup rattled against its saucer. I just want to know how long. Maggie's fingers twisted her wedding ring. 8 months. But the money, that started before. Oliver said it was an investment opportunity. Oliver. The name tasted like acid. Of course he did. Nathan said you were distant, focused on your career. He said, stop. My palm slammed the table harder than intended. A few heads turned. I don't care what he said. I care about what he did. What you both did. Her eyes filled with tears. Amateur move. I never meant to... To what? To help my husband steal from our son's college fund? To lie to my face at Oliver's parties? I leaned forward. To get pregnant? The color that had left her face rushed back. How did you— The payments changed patterns 6 weeks ago. Same time you started visiting that obstetrics clinic on Madison Street. I pulled out another paper. Nathan's been tracking your appointments on his calendar. Password protection means nothing when you use our son's birthday for everything. Maggie's hands covered her stomach protectively. He said he'd leave you. After the business deal with Oliver closes— A laugh escaped me, sharp and bitter. There is no business deal. Oliver's firm is under federal investigation for fraud. Nathan's been moving money offshore for months, preparing to run. No. She shook her head. You're lying. I pulled out my phone, played the recording I'd made at the Bennett's dinner party. Nathan's voice, slightly muffled but clear. Once the feds start looking closer, we'll need to be gone. 2 weeks, tops. Maggie's coffee cup clattered to the floor. Oh God. Here's what's going to happen. I handed her a business card. This is my lawyer's number. You're going to tell her everything. Dates, amounts, conversations. In return, I'll make sure you don't go down with them. Why would you help me? I stood, gathering my evidence. Because you're not the first woman Nathan's used, and you won't be the last. But you might be the one who helps me stop him. My phone buzzed as I left the coffee shop. Nathan. Working late tonight. Don't wait up. I texted back. No problem. Taking Eli to Mom's for dinner. Instead, I drove to Samantha's office. She was waiting with a stack of documents and a grim expression. The feds contacted me, she said without preamble. They want to know what we know. Everything's ready? She nodded. Offshore accounts traced, wire transfers documented. Oliver's whole house of cards is about to collapse. And Nathan? Once Oliver goes down, Nathan's part in it will be impossible to hide. She hesitated. Are you sure about this? There's no going back. I thought about Eli, about the future Nathan was trying to steal from him, about Maggie, another victim of his manipulations, about all the lies that had built our life together. I'm sure. I picked up my phone, dialed the number Samantha had given me. Agent Phillips, this is Paisley Adams. I'm ready to make my statement. As I detailed Nathan's crimes to the federal agent, I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about justice, about protecting not just my son, but everyone Nathan and Oliver had tried to destroy. My phone lit up with another text from Nathan. Miss you. Love you. I didn't reply. Some lies didn't deserve an answer. My mother's kitchen had always been my safe harbor, but tonight it felt like the walls were closing in. Grace stood at the sink, her back rigid as she processed everything I'd just told her. The federal agents, she said finally. They're certain about the timeline? 2 days. I traced the rim of my untouched tea. That's how long before they move on Oliver's firm. Nathan will run as soon as he catches wind of it. She turned, and I saw my own fury reflected in her eyes. With your money. With Eli's future. The words tasted like ash. Unless I stop him first. The back door creaked open, and Eli trudged in, sweaty from soccer practice. He dropped his bag, headed straight for the fridge. Dad's not coming again, is he? Grace and I exchanged glances. He's working late, honey. Right. Eli's voice was flat. Like last week, and the week before. My phone buzzed. Samantha. Need to see you now. Something's wrong. Mom, can you go? Grace squeezed my shoulder. We'll order pizza. The drive to Samantha's office felt endless. She was pacing when I arrived, holding a stack of papers. The accounts we traced? Her hands shook. They're empty. All of them. Someone moved everything within the last hour. The floor seemed to tilt beneath my feet. That's not possible. The feds were monitoring. There was a leak. She thrust a document at me. Look at the authorization signature. The name hit me like a physical blow. Caroline Bennett. Oliver's wife? My laugh sounded hysterical, even to my own ears. She's been in on it the whole time? She's not just in on it. Samantha pulled up an email chain. She's running it. The whole operation, it's her company. Oliver's just the front man. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. All those charity events, those perfectly orchestrated dinner parties. Caroline hadn't been oblivious. She'd been orchestrating everything. My phone rang. Nathan. I let it go to voicemail. The feds are moving tonight, Samantha said quietly. But without those accounts, we have nothing. The words tasted bitter. They'll all get away with it. Another call, unknown number. This time I answered. Hello, Paisley. Caroline's voice was silk over steel. I believe we need to talk. About how you played me? About your son's future. A pause. Meet me at the office, 1 hour. Come alone or Nathan learns exactly who's been feeding information to the feds. The line went dead. Samantha grabbed my arm. You can't go, it's a trap. Of course it is. I gathered my things. But she has everything. The money, the evidence, all of it. What choice do I have? We can call Agent Phillips. And risk Nathan running with whatever's left? I shook my head. I have to try. The office building was dark except for the top floor. Caroline stood at the window, silhouetted against the city lights. She didn't turn when I entered. You know what fascinates me about chess? She swirled her wine glass. It's not about the pieces you take. It's about the ones you're willing to sacrifice. Is that what this is to you? A game? Life is a game, dear. Now she turned, smile sharp as broken glass. Nathan was a useful pawn. Maggie, too. But you surprised me. I didn't expect you to be quite so resourceful. What do you want? To offer you a choice. She set down her glass. Walk away now. Take Eli. Take enough money to start fresh. Let the investigation die quietly. And if I refuse? Then Nathan goes to prison. The scandal destroys your career, and Eli grows up with both parents' names dragged through the mud. Her smile widened. Your move. I thought about Eli's face in the kitchen, about Nathan's lies, about all the lives Caroline had casually destroyed, about justice versus revenge, and the price of each. My phone buzzed again, a text from Grace. Eli asking for you, says it's important. Sometimes the hardest choices are the simplest ones. I looked Caroline in the eye and made my move. The recording device felt heavy in my pocket as I walked into Nathan's office. He looked up, surprise flickering across his face before settling into that practiced smile I'd once found charming. This is unexpected. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. Everything okay? Just bringing you lunch. I set down the paper bag, watching his expression. Like I used to. His smile faltered slightly. That's thoughtful. I perched on the edge of his desk instead of taking the chair, noting how he shifted away almost imperceptibly. Remember our first apartment? How I'd bring you lunch every Thursday? Paisley. Before the promotions, before Oliver's deals. I traced the edge of his desk calendar. Before Maggie. The color drained from his face. What are you talking about? It's funny. I picked up the family photo on his desk. Me, him, Eli at the beach last summer. Caroline just told me the most interesting story about your investment strategy. His hand moved toward his phone. I was faster, unplugging it from the wall. Don't bother calling Oliver. I set the photo down carefully. He's a bit busy with the federal agents right now. You don't understand. Actually, I do. I pulled out my phone, played the recording of Caroline's confession. I understand perfectly. Nathan stood so quickly his chair slammed into the wall. Where did you get that? The same place I got this. I showed him the video from my meeting with Maggie. And this. The bank transfers. And this. The offshore account details. Jesus, Paisley. His voice cracked. What have you done? What have I done? The laugh that escaped me didn't sound entirely sane. That's rich, coming from the man who planned to abandon his son. I was going to send for you both. Like hell you were. I slammed my hand on his desk. You were going to run with Caroline's money and your pregnant mistress. He flinched. How did you know about the baby? The same way I know about everything else. I stood, moving toward the door. The feds are probably reaching Oliver's office right now. Caroline's already gone. Took a private flight this morning. Guess loyalty isn't her strong suit either. Wait. He grabbed my arm. We can fix this. I'll tell them everything about Caroline, about Oliver. We can start fresh. I jerked away from his touch. There is no we anymore, Nathan. There's just me, trying to salvage something for our son from the wreckage you created. Eli. His face crumpled. Please don't let him... Find out what kind of man his father really is? My voice was ice. That's your choice now. Sign the papers my lawyer's bringing this afternoon. Full custody, fair division of what's left of our assets. Or I release everything. To the feds, to the media, to Eli. You wouldn't. Try me. I opened the door. Oh, and Nathan. Maggie sends her regards. She's very cooperative when she realizes she's been played. In the elevator, my hands finally started shaking. I pulled out my phone, dialed Samantha. It's done, I said when she answered. Is everything ready? Papers are drawn up. Agent Phillips has Oliver in custody. She paused. Caroline's trail goes cold in Switzerland. Let her run. I stepped into the lobby, nodding at the security guard I'd tipped off about the impending federal raid. She's not my concern anymore. And Nathan? I watched through the glass doors as black SUVs pulled up outside. He'll sign. He cares more about his reputation than anything else. Paisley. Samantha's voice softened. Are you okay? I thought about the look in Nathan's eyes when he realized he'd lost everything. About Eli waiting at home, still believing in his father. About the years I'd spent building a life on lies. No, I admitted, but I will be. The federal agents were streaming into the building now. I stepped outside, breathing in the sharp autumn air. My phone buzzed. A text from Grace. Eli's asking about dinner. Says he wants to talk to you both. Both. As if we were still a family. As if anything would ever be normal again. I typed back. On my way. Just have to watch the world burn first. The divorce papers lay unsigned on Nathan's lawyer's desk, mocking every calculation I'd made. Through the glass wall, I watched Nathan pace in the hallway, phone pressed to his ear. Probably calling Caroline again, desperate for a lifeline that wasn't coming. Your terms are unreasonable, his lawyer said, tapping the papers. No judge would... Your client helped steal millions. I kept my voice steady. The feds have Oliver singing like a bird. How long before he implicates Nathan? The intercom buzzed. Mrs. Adams, your son's school is on line 1. My stomach dropped. Eli never called during school hours. Never. He collapsed during gym class, the nurse said. We're transferring him to Memorial Hospital. The world tilted sideways. I was running before I hung up, shouldering past Nathan in the hallway. He caught my arm. What's wrong? Eli. I jerked away. Let go. I'm coming with you. Like hell you are. But he followed anyway, and I was too focused on getting to the hospital to fight him. The drive was a blur of red lights and horns, my hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel. The emergency room was chaos. A doctor met us, speaking in that carefully measured tone they practice in medical school. Severe anxiety attack, she explained. His blood pressure was dangerously high. Has he been under unusual stress lately? Nathan and I couldn't look at each other. Can we see him? I asked instead of answering. Eli looked small in the hospital bed, monitors beeping steadily beside him. His eyes flickered between us, and I saw something there I'd never wanted to see. Fear. I found the papers, he said quietly. In Dad's office, about the money and Maggie. Nathan made a sound like he'd been punched. Son, don't. Eli's voice cracked. Just don't lie anymore, please. I moved to touch his hand, but he pulled away. Why didn't you tell me? Either of you? We were trying to protect you, I started, but the words felt hollow. By letting me think everything was fine? His heart monitor spiked. While you both planned to destroy each other? The doctor appeared in the doorway. His blood pressure's rising again. I need you both to step out. In the hallway, Nathan slumped against the wall. This is what you wanted, isn't it? To make him hate me? I wanted justice. And look what it cost. He straightened, something dangerous in his eyes. I just got a text from Oliver's wife. He killed himself in custody an hour ago. The floor seemed to drop out from under me. What? Caroline's gone. Oliver's dead. Our son is in the hospital. Nathan's laugh was bitter. Congratulations, Paisley. You got your revenge. Hope it was worth it. He walked away, leaving me alone in the sterile hallway. My phone buzzed. Samantha. The feds are dropping the investigation, she said without preamble. Oliver's death complicated everything. They're calling it a tragic misunderstanding, sweeping it under the rug. No. My voice sounded distant. They can't. They already have. Caroline's lawyers are spinning it as corporate espionage gone wrong. Nathan will probably walk away clean. I ended the call, stumbled to the bathroom, and threw up until there was nothing left. In the mirror, my reflection looked like a stranger. Hollow-eyed, pale, destroyed. The doctor found me there. Your son's asking for you. Just you. Back in Eli's room, he looked at me with eyes too old for his face. Did you love him? Dad? Ever? Yes. The truth hurt more than any lie. I still do. That's why this hurts so much. Then why? Because sometimes love isn't enough. I sank into the chair beside his bed. Sometimes you have to choose between justice and mercy. I chose wrong. He was quiet for a long moment. What happens now? I thought about Nathan walking away, about Oliver's death, about Caroline somewhere in Switzerland with millions of stolen dollars, about my son in a hospital bed, paying the price for adult betrayals. I don't know, I admitted. But whatever happens, I promise. No more secrets, no more revenge. Eli closed his eyes. I wish I could believe you. Outside his window, the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of blood red. Somewhere in the hospital, Nathan was probably already planning his next move. But here, watching my son drift into uneasy sleep, I finally understood the true cost of betrayal. And it wasn't measured in dollars or revenge at all. 3 days after Eli came home from the hospital, Nathan showed up at my door at midnight. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his eyes hollow. He held up a USB drive like a peace offering. Everything's here, he said. The real accounts, Caroline's network, all of it. I didn't move from the doorway. Why now? Because Eli won't answer my calls. His hand shook slightly. And because I found Maggie in my apartment tonight, unconscious. Pills. The world tilted sideways. Is she alive? Barely. He pushed past me into the house. She left a note about the baby, about everything. In the living room, Nathan paced like a caged animal. The USB drive sat between us on the coffee table, a tiny thing to hold so much destruction. I never meant, he started, to get caught? The laugh that escaped me sounded wrong. To destroy our family? To drive Oliver to suicide? To become my father? The words exploded from him. The gambling, the affairs, the lies. I swore I'd never be him. And look at me now. You're worse. I picked up the drive. Your father only destroyed himself. You took everyone down with you. I can fix this. He moved toward me, desperate. The money's still there. Caroline's network is vulnerable. We? I backed away. There is no we anymore, Nathan. There's just the mess you made and the people you hurt trying to clean it up. Like you're innocent? His voice turned ugly. You pushed Oliver over the edge. You used Maggie. I protected our son. The words cut through his accusations. Everything I did was to protect Eli from becoming collateral damage in your games. Then why is he in therapy? Nathan's fist slammed the wall. Why won't he speak to either of us? The front door creaked. We both turned to see Eli standing there, still in his pajamas, Grace behind him with fear in her eyes. I heard yelling. He said quietly. Again. Nathan stepped toward him. Son, don't. Eli's voice cracked. Just don't. I moved to shield him, but Eli stepped around me, facing his father with shoulders straight. You want to know why I won't talk to you? His hands clenched. Because every time you open your mouth, it's about money, or blame, or fixing things. But you never once said you're sorry. Not to Mom, not to me, not even to Maggie. The silence that followed was deafening. Nathan looked like he'd been shot. "The baby," he whispered. "How did you—" "I heard Mom on the phone with the hospital." Eli's voice was steady now. "Another person you hurt trying to be something you're not." Grace stepped forward. "Eli, honey." "No." He turned to me. "You're not better, Mom. You wanted revenge more than you wanted me to be okay." The truth of it hit like a physical blow. I sank onto the couch, the USB drive falling from my numb fingers. Nathan picked it up, stared at it like it held answers. Then, slowly, he walked to the kitchen. We heard the garbage disposal grind. When he returned, something had changed in his face. "I'm sorry," he said to Eli. "For everything. And you're right, I've been trying to fix the wrong things." He turned to me. "I'll sign whatever you want. Full custody, asset division, all of it. No conditions." "Why?" I managed. "Because he deserves better." Nathan looked at our son. "Because you both do." Eli's shoulders sagged like a weight had lifted. "What about Maggie? I'm going to the hospital now." Nathan moved toward the door. "To do what I should have done months ago. Take responsibility." He paused at the threshold. "I know it doesn't fix anything, but I am sorry. For becoming everything I promised I wouldn't be." After he left, Eli sat between me and Grace on the couch. No one spoke. The tick of the clock marked moments passing, a family reshaping itself in the aftermath of destruction. Finally, Eli took my hand. "Can we start over? All of us?" I thought about the evidence destroyed in our garbage disposal, about Nathan heading to face his responsibilities, about revenge and justice and the cost of both. "Yes," I said, squeezing his hand. "We can start over." Sometimes the greatest victory isn't in winning the war, but in knowing when to lay down arms. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, hand-delivered to my office. Maggie's handwriting, slanted and urgent, covered both sides of the paper inside. I read it twice before calling Nathan. "She's leaving the country." "I know." His voice sounded tired. "The baby. She lost it last week. Didn't want me there." The words hung between us, heavy with shared responsibility. "The letter says she's giving her statement to the feds first. About Caroline, about everything." "Good." The simplicity of his response surprised me. "It needs to end." I set the letter down, watched sunlight catch the divorce papers on my desk. "Final hearing tomorrow." "Have you told Eli?" "That Maggie's leaving?" "No." A pause. "But I did tell him about the therapy." He seemed relieved. Through my office window, I could see Samantha in the conference room, rebuilding our firm from the ashes Oliver left behind. Life moved forward, whether we were ready or not. "The trust fund paperwork came through," I said. "Everything we could salvage protected in his name." "Paisley," Nathan's voice cracked. "I never meant—" "I know." And somehow finally I did. Neither did I. The door opened and Eli walked in, fresh from school, Grace hovering behind him. He'd started doing that, checking in, making sure we were both still here, still trying. "Mom?" He gestured at my phone. "Is that Dad?" I nodded. He held out his hand for the phone and I gave it to him, watching his face as he listened to whatever Nathan was saying. "Okay," he said finally. "Yeah, I'll be there. Both days." A pause. "I know, Dad. Me too." He handed the phone back without ending the call. Nathan and I listened to each other breathe for a moment. "The hearing," I said finally. 9 tomorrow. I'll be there." He cleared his throat. "Caroline surfaced in Geneva. The Swiss authorities. I don't care." The truth of it surprised me. Let her run. Let her hide. It's not our story anymore. After we hung up, Eli perched on my desk, picking up Maggie's letter. "Is she okay?" "She will be." I took the letter back. "Sometimes people need to leave to find themselves again." "Like you and Dad?" "No." I met his eyes. "We're not leaving. We're just changing how we stay." Grace stepped forward, her hand on Eli's shoulder. "Ready for dinner? I thought we could try that new place by the park." Actually, Eli looked at me. Could we get pizza? At home? Like we used to? The simplicity of his request hit harder than any revenge ever had. Of course. Later, watching Eli and Grace argue over the last slice, I opened my laptop and typed, "Dear Maggie, I received your letter. You're right. There are no winners in this story. But maybe there can be survivors. I hope you find what you're looking for. We'll make sure your statement reaches the right people. Take care of yourself. Paisley." My phone buzzed. Nathan sending Eli's therapy schedule. 2 sessions a week, alternating which parent attended. Small steps toward whatever came next. Another message followed. Found Oliver's last letter. You should read it. Some truths need to be known, even if they hurt. I closed my laptop without responding. Tomorrow would bring enough truth, in courtrooms and therapy sessions, in careful conversations and cautious hopes. Mom? Eli held out a pizza slice. Last piece. Want to share? I moved to the couch, settling between him and Grace. Always. The word felt like a promise, like forgiveness, like the beginning of something we hadn't quite named yet. Not happiness, exactly. Not redemption. But maybe understanding. Grace squeezed my hand, and I thought about Oliver's letter waiting in Nathan's office. About Caroline running with blood money. About Maggie starting over somewhere new. Some stories don't end with justice or revenge. They end with pizza on a Tuesday night, with therapy appointments and trust funds, with the slow, careful work of rebuilding what betrayal broke. And maybe that's enough. Eli leaned against my shoulder, already half asleep. Outside, the city hummed with other people's stories, other betrayals, other chances at redemption. But this one, this messy, painful, hopeful story, was ours. And we were finally learning how to tell it honestly,